Man left his show and dropped out of sight. Now he's turned up in South Africa. Here's BET's Enrique Correa with why Chappelle left his show and if he's coming back.
I'm Rick James, bitch.
Dave Chappelle is a funny man, but it seems the stress of living up to a $50 million contract is no laughing matter. On April 28th, Chappelle walked off the set of his hit show and disappeared.
Dave, come back. I'm broke, bitch.
Donnell Rawlings is part of the show's cast. He says despite rumors, Chappelle's disappearing act had nothing to do with depression, drugs, or partying too much.
When he's younger Dave, everybody know Dave might smoke a joint every once in a while. There's no surprise. He did a movie about it. But his lifestyle now was totally away from that. He's got a beautiful wife he's in love with. He got 2 beautiful kids, and I think that was his biggest party.
So the big question remains the same. When will Dave be back? The 3rd season of The Chappelle Show was scheduled to begin in only 2 weeks. Not only is that off the table, Comedy Central officials say they don't expect the new season to air anytime this year.
How old were you when you made your first TV development deal?
19. My mother and my grandmother were freaked out. You know, I was the first person in my family not to go to college that had not been a slave.
Right.
So I was really breaking from tradition, and it was like a graduation lunch we were having, and they had my dad come and talk to me, and my dad takes me outside, and he's like, listen, and this is some advice that applies to all you acting students. He says, to be an actor is a lonely life. Everybody wants to make it, and you might not make it. And I said to my dad, well, that depends on what making it is, Dad. He was a smart-ass kid.
Yeah.
It depends on what making it is, Dad. He says, what do you mean? I said, well, you're a teacher. I said, if I can make a teacher salary doing comedy, I think that's better than being a teacher. And he started laughing. He said, if you keep that attitude, I think you should go. He said, but name your price in the beginning. If it ever gets more expensive than the price you name, get out of there. Mm-hmm. Thus, Africa. Oh, man. Yeah, you guys are going to learn a lot tonight.
What can they learn?
You know, like you guys are students now, so you're idealists, but you don't know about where art and corporate interests meet yet. Just prepare to have your heart broken. Like, in a way, you see him laughing, that evil laugh? Because he knows, man, and everybody laughs at me, but just get your Africa tickets ready, baby, because it's coming. It's coming. You have no idea.
When Martin Lawrence was in that chair, we talked about Blue Streak.
I love that dude.
He played a role in your life, I believe. How do you feel about him as a person, as an artist?
Martin Lawrence is the guy that showed everybody you can make it from D.C. to Hollywood. And I had a personal stake in his success. Every time he did something, it made me feel inspired and really good. And he was always real nice to me. He'd sit me down, what's going on with you, baby boy? What? We'd talk about comedy, whatever. And, you know, when we did Blue Streak, we were promoting it, and Martin had a stroke. He almost died. And then after that, I saw him, and I was like, oh, my God, Martin, are you okay? And he said, I got the best sleep I ever got in my life. That's how tough he is. So let me ask you this. What is happening in Hollywood that a guy that tough will be on the street waving a gun, screaming, they are trying to kill me?
Yeah.
What's going on? Why is Dave Chappelle going to Africa? Why does Mariah Carey make a $100 million deal and take clothes off on TRL? A weak person cannot get to sit here and talk to you. Ain't no weak people talking to you. So what is happening in Hollywood? Nobody knows. The worst thing to call somebody is crazy, is dismissive. I don't understand this person, so they're crazy. That's bullshit. These people are not crazy. They're strong people. Maybe the environment is a little sick. Oh, I'm dropping dimes tonight. In Africa, there's a small community of people that don't know anything about the work I do, and they just treat me like I'm a regular dude. So I knew that in Africa I'd have a place to sleep, and that I wouldn't have to feel strange. And, you know, when they would call me crackhead and all these things in the country where I'm from, in Africa, they didn't know anything. They was feeding me and taking care of me and taking me to the mall and just regular stuff. And it just made me feel good. It just reminded me that I was a person, you know. I didn't even know they were saying those things about me. Then I called home, and people would be like, oh, my God, are you all right? Yeah, chill, I'm in Africa, baby. What's going on? And then I got a call from a journalist that had been working on a story, and he was like, yeah, rumor mill's going on about you. Just want to clear a few things up. And I'm like, yeah, what's going on? Okay, do you smoke crack? I said, what? Do you smoke crack? Did you graduate from high school? I mean, it was all these crazy questions. And I thought about never coming back. I said, this place is crazy. Like, I'm that dude. I just thought about all the things that celebrities go through and what celebrities become in our culture. You know, if you Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston and your marriage is breaking up, that's an awful thing. But to see that speculation in people gotta sting a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I realized, oh my God, I'm one of those people. That's a small club, man. That's a weird place to be. Ain't really no going back. You can't get unfamous. You can get infamous.
Right.
But you can't get unfamous.
Right.
So I got scared. I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I was scared to death.
You put it out there and hopefully they get it. I always like to think of it as like I've got them sitting there, whip a little message at them, whip a little moral at them, whip a little of what my view of the world is, because that's what every good filmmaker does. And we'll lead the world into the 21st century, and I'll make a profit on their backs.
I made the most vulgar, entertaining, exciting, actionful, sensoramic, give them a new thrill every 5 minutes, have it everything, sex, violence, humor, because I want people to come and see it.
So it's like trying to smuggle in ideas. So I think maverick filmmaking is subversion.
Oh, movies are important and they're dangerous because it's, you go into a little dark room and become incredibly vulnerable, and it can completely misshape you.
Wes Craven, creator of Nightmare on Elm Street, as well as a slew of other horror films, confess this truism of even much milder forms of visual entertainment. He states, "Many, many things are dangerous in our world. Commercials and TV are dangerous. So is the world of sitcoms. Nobody does anything about them because they're turning in a lot of money."
Every 15 pages, nudity. Pages. Not, in the script. And whether it's a leg, full nudity, or maybe just the suggestion of nudity, but every 15 pages, you got to keep that interest going.
I've pleased your children, I've pleased your wives, I've pleased you, you sons of bitches!
These were just nose-thumbing movies. They are there to thumb their nose at your values, saying, we don't care if you like us, we don't like you.
Are we stupid as they claim, and do we sell out our lives and the lives of our children to people who admittedly don't like us and knowingly destroy our souls? David Putnam, producer of Chariots of Fire and The Mission, confessed, "Movies are powerful. Good or bad, they tinker around inside your brain. They steal up on you in the darkness of the cinema to form or conform social attitudes. In short, cinema is propaganda."